Hi, I'm Eileen. Welcome to ADORNit's online classes. Today I'm going to be talking about the Ruffled table runner kit, and you may have seen this in your local Barnes & Noble. I'm going to give you a couple of pointers today to help this table runner go together smoothly for you. And you might think by looking at the picture that it's a difficult pattern, but it's not. It's really easy. One of the first things I like to do is I always like to get my supplies ready, and having a mat, a rotary cutter, and a see-through ruler are great things to have, and it does help your sewing go a little more smoothly. It helps you have nice, crisp, clean edges, and it helps your ends to go together more evenly. The first thing I always do is I take my rotary cutter and I make a cut down the left side. That gives me a really fresh cutting starting point, and I know that it's even and that I'm ready to go. This table runner has 2 larger pieces and 6 ruffled pieces. The first piece is your wider, smaller dot or smaller printed fabric, which is 18 inches or exactly a half of a yard. Your second piece, or your larger printed fabric, is cut at 12 inches, which is exactly a third of a yard. When you cut your fabric, the instructions will say to cut it at 18 inches times WOF, which means the width of the fabric. So you're going to cut from top to bottom all the way down, and that will give you the exact amount that you need for this project. I've cut some smaller pieces here to give you a demonstration. So this is the part that's really easy, and that looks hard by looking at the pictures, but really all you're doing is you're taking your larger piece and then you're taking your smaller piece, right sides together. You're going to pin this side and then you're going to pin this side. And as you can see, this smaller dot fabric is larger, but what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sewing down both sides, and when you do that, you're going to form a tube, and this excess fabric is going to wrap around and form your border. I've gone ahead and I have sewn a piece to demonstrate this, where I have sewn down one side and I have sewn down the other side, and then you take that and you turn it right side out. Can look at that and see how easy that is. Then you center this middle fabric right down the middle, and then you press. And as you do that, you form your border sides, which is really, like I said, easy, but it looks hard. After you do this and you have turned it right side out, you will turn it, and you've pressed it, you're going to turn it back inside out again. And after your piece, after you have already pressed that, and so you know where your middle is, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to sew a seam like this down the end. Now, you'll see that there's a little bit of this raw edge or selvage right here. You can go ahead and trim this off and make it nice and even, and then you won't have any of that showing. So you're going to do that on both ends, except on one end you're going to leave just about a 6-inch opening. Then you can turn it right side out, and then you can turn it and make a little whip stitch right across the bottom there and close that up. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side, and I have a smaller piece here that I can show you. Now you will have, like I said, you have 3 ruffled pieces. You'll cut them per the instructions, and this is what it's going to look like folded. But what you will do to do that is that you'll just take your ruffles, you will turn them right sides together, and then you will sew a seam down both sides on the inside. Then you turn it right side out, press it, and then you have a nice finished edge right there. Your very first ruffle that you're going to do is you're going to place that on the end You'll be doing both ends, but you start on one end. And then you take a marking pen. This is just a disappearing fabric marking pen, which means that this disappears in probably about 48 hours. But there are also white marking pens. You could use just a pencil, or you could use a disappearing pen where when you iron it, the pen mark goes away. So on your finished edge on this end, you're going to measure in about 1/2 inch. You'll mark that with your marking pen, and then you'll take your ruffle and you'll start on one end. And what you do with this is you just pleat it, and you pleat it about every 1/4 to 1/2 inch till you use up the whole width of this fabric to the other side of the table runner. I always pin it in place. I am a big advocate of pinning. When you pin, your seams come out more evenly and you have a better result. After you have top stitched across here about 1/4 inch seam, you'll have what looks like this on the end. And this is sewn, and then you can press that, and that gives you a really nice pleat right there. Then what you'll do to start your next line is you go up 1 inch from here, you mark it, and you're going to repeat the process with the gray. And then you'll do your gray ruffle, and it hides this top seam right here, so you won't even see the edge of that ruffle. And you'll go along like that. And then you'll finish with this cute daisy print. And that will finish the edge of your table runner. That's your last ruffle that you'll put on. And then, very last, since this seam right here is not finished and it's not hemmed, it's just a raw edge, some of these edges may fray, but not to worry, because you're going to take this darling ribbon, you're going to go ahead and set it right along the top. You're going to hide that seam, and you're going to top stitch this in place. And then you can just take your ribbon, wrap it around to the back side, and then do another little stitch. You're going to do that on the end of your fabric runner on the other side, and you will have a darling table runner that is only going to take you maybe an afternoon, and then you'll have this beautiful table runner to put on your table, and people will think that you went through a lot of trouble, but actually with these really nifty tricks, you can see that this table runner is very easy, and it's easy enough for a beginner sewer. So again, I'm Eileen, and welcome to our ADORNit online class. Thank you.